There's been mixed reaction to confirmation this evening that the Higher Education and Training Minister, Dr. Nobuhle Nkabane, has been fired by President Cyril Ramaphosa. It's all to do with the bungle basically created by the controversial appointment of chairpersons of sector education and training authorities. She was due to face Parliament tomorrow. That's the Higher Education Portfolio Committee that was going to ask more questions about that process, which Nkabane ultimately rescinded. But as things stand, various political parties tonight welcoming her departure. But some are still cautious about whether Buti Manamela, the new Minister of Higher Education and Training, will be able to turn the ship around. Let's get the view of Dr. Corne Mulder, leader of the FF Plus in Parliament. Good to have your time this evening on the SABC, sir. So Dr. Nobuhle Nkabane, as I was saying, her departure tonight has elicited mixed reaction. Where do you stand?
Yes, good evening and thank you for the opportunity. We welcome the fact that she's been axed from the cabinet. I think it was inevitable. It was only a question of when. Her tenure became very, very difficult and almost impossible. We really welcome the fact that she's now being fired and not being just moved to another portfolio, because that would have just exacerbated the problem. One must understand, however, that we also have on Wednesday the vote in Parliament on the national budget, and it was most unlikely that the budget for higher education would have been passed in Parliament if she remained in that position. So we welcome the fact that she's been axed, and I think that is a constructive and a positive step taking us forward.
I wonder if that approach, which the DA had spearheaded, of saying it would not support, for instance, budget votes led by the likes of the now former Minister Nkabane, if that is an effective means of accountability even for the GNU. Do you think that is ultimately what forced the President's hand here?
It's unfortunate, yes. It's not efficient or the right way to have accountability, unfortunately, but I think under the circumstances, that became the only option. Obviously, we would have preferred a real accountability, where the minister would have been attending the portfolio committee and would have been able to provide necessary answers, not the way that she did that in the past by not replying and making it impossible to do that oversight. But given the circumstances, unfortunately, I think that was the only way out now, to force the hand of the president and to have this situation, which is it's not a good situation. I think if the government of national unity would function more effectively, this kind of situation can and should be prevented going forward.
And what questions, presuming that Nobuhle Nkabane stays on as a member of Parliament, what questions should Dr. Nkabane ultimately answer when Parliament takes her through the ethics process, because that is still on the table, at least at the moment?
It's difficult to say. We will have to see how that plays out. I'm not sure if she's going to retain her position as a member of Parliament. And the problem is now this: she's no longer a member of the executive, so it's going to be very difficult to question her in any way whatsoever. I think she has escaped that kind of scrutiny, but we will take it up and see if it's possible or not. And the irony is that the new minister will have to stand in for the decisions that she took. That's how it works.
Should he take the heat, and if so, to what extent?
No, he can only respond in terms of what happened in the department. Did she act all by herself? Did she consult her senior people in the department? Are there some senior officials who were with her and advising her and assisted her in taking those decisions? Those are the kind of questions that can be asked from the new minister. But obviously, he cannot take responsibility for the political decisions that she took.
And ultimately, Buti Manamela comes in as minister after quite a few years as Deputy Minister of Higher Education and Training. He was there even in the Nzimande years when Dr. Blade Nzimande led the department. Do you think that's prepared him for just the scale of challenges, problems really faced by the department, from funding to accommodation to things like getting these SETAs, the Sector Education and Training Authorities, working correctly?
I think he's qualified, and I think he got some good experience. He's been in the department for quite some time, and he was the understudy of the minister, so he should know what it's all about, and he should be able to do what needs to be done. However, one must also remember that last year he refused to testify before SCOPA, the Public Accounts Committee, and the chairperson, Zongezo Zibi, had to severely reprimand him. So there are some question marks. It's not all just plain sailing, unfortunately.